Our new clothing is finally out. How much brighter is that? It looks so much better. For the last year or so, our clothing's been quite dull, quite dark, black. Look at that, fantastic. Incredibly waterproof. Over the moon it's finally out, because I know a lot of you guys have been waiting to see it. So there you go. It's been an immense week. 3 days at Ferry Meadows. Lots to get through, but I'll just start off with what basically the plan was for last weekend. 3 days at Ferry Meadows, make or break here. That's exactly what it can do. Going into those 3 days last weekend, I honestly thought, I didn't know if I was going to be coming home at 100 mile an hour, buzzing my you-know-whats off, or whether I'd be hanging from a noose from a tree. Ferry's been fishing very difficult. 3 sessions. Saturday was going to be the Super League Feeder Masters Round 2 team match, and Sunday was the Feeder Masters individual qualifier. Got to openly admit, and I'm quite pleased to admit, that it was all about Saturday. It was all about the Saturday team result, and that's what we were all focusing on, even though all our new fish team were going to be there on the Sunday as well to fish the individual qualifier. Incredibly proud and pleased to say that we went down there on the Friday and fished the day before. We fished on the high bank for a bit of a recce, bit of a get together more than anything, just to throw a few ideas together and just kind of see what fish we're feeding. I've got to admit, the biggest surprise from that day was A, there was quite a few small fish caught, and B, I was surprised that there weren't more teams there. I understand that a lot of teams can't sacrifice midweek days to go and practice, and to be honest, the biggest reason why I think there weren't more teams there practicing is because I think they just expected it to be a lottery, you know, because of the way Ferry's been fishing. I think they just thought it was going to be down to the draw bag, and wherever you draw you can, they're going to fish for bream, and I can completely understand that. But I'm incredibly proud of the lads for what they did on the Friday. We went there and came up with a bit of a plan that was, everything we did was really to avoid a blowout. You know, a lot of people know we were leading the league by 10 points over the fantastic Team Ringers after round 1, and we wanted to hold on to that lead, simple as that. And we knew, or we thought, that Ferry was going to be a bit of a bream lottery, and I think that's what a lot of people expected. And the last thing we wanted to do was really have any blowouts. We didn't want to, you know, have to carry any, you know, 12 to 15 point scores. We just didn't want to do that, so we came up with a bit of a plan to just avoid a blowout. We had a line to fish for anything, a shorter line, and a longer line obviously to target bream, which, you know, you can't ignore at Ferry Meadows in any circumstances and at any time of the year. I'm a bit warm now. I can tell you exactly how it fished. My match didn't go exactly to plan, I'll be totally honest with you. I haven't really downloaded too much with the lads, because they all kind of did their job, did what needed to be done, and we got the result. So I don't really know how their matches panned out too much. For me, I had a line at 30 metres with Pro Natural. That was the mix that I used, Pro Natural Extra and Pro Natural, the natural colour. That was at 30 metres. And I was going to fish out a bit of chopped worm, dead maggot and some casters. I just fish for anything, fish light with a little, you know, a light small feeder, and just kind of start on that line and just catch anything, any roach that were there, and then dace, bleak, and obviously any skimmers that came along, perch, anything, just to avoid a blowout. And the other line was, we kind of agreed that we were going to fish slightly past any other angler that was either side of us, you know, probably about 5 metres if you could gauge that sort of range past where the anglers either side of you were. My match, I drew the right end of the section, high bank. Some people said it was terrible, but as it turned out on paper, it looked to be the better end of the section, and it didn't quite go to plan for me, I'll be honest with you. I started on that short line at 30 metres and I got bitted out by a bleak. You know, it was something that I never imagined was going to happen, and from what I'm led to believe, it didn't affect any other of our lads either. You know, there were areas where they were fishing that on that shorter line and just not getting many bites at all. I went in and immediately I was getting bites from tiny bleak, and it just kind of, the line wasn't right. You know, using a mix like that, cereal mix, is fantastic for catching any sort of fish, any fish. You know, the Pro Natural cereal, it's a cereal based mix, and it worked too well because there were too many small bleak there, and it was shallow water there, and I just couldn't fish it properly. In hindsight, I would have fished it with a cereal mix, a fish meal mix, and gone for better fish on that line. I think that's what I should have done, but I might not have caught. But to cut a long story short, I battled my way through some of the bleak, and I caught, you know, 1 or 2 small skimmers. I had a better hybrid, and it just really didn't get going, that line. But the key bonus of having a line like that means that it allowed me somewhere to fish while my longer bream line developed. I fished that, I fed that at the start and left it for the first hour before I went on it, just to give any fish in the area time to settle on it. I kicked off with 15 feederfuls of the 6-hole Horizon feeder, 50-gram weighted ones. I haven't got one with me to show you, sorry. And 15 of those. I left it for an hour, and then when I went on it, I just didn't catch. That was a mix of Karma and Special G Green, mixed 50-50, a mix we're super confident in. And whilst ground bait is incredibly important everywhere we go, or I think it is, I don't think it really mattered really at Ferry Meadows. I'll be honest with you, in hindsight, as long as it was a fish meal mix, I think it's just the way that you applied it, the way that you fed your peg, rather than just relying on the actual mix itself, if that makes sense. It was kind of a way of setting the line up to catch fish. And my first visit on it didn't produce anything, and it wasn't until 2.5 hours into the match when I was kind of in a bit of trouble. The section was fishing hard anyway, so I was probably only about 8 or 10 pound behind the leader in that section, who we assumed was Will Freeman, who was 2 pegs to my right, who caught a couple of decent bream, and that was it really. But on the turning point, Richard Vaughan, our bank runner, thanks for running the bank again, Richard. Valid team member now, mate. We really need you on that bank for the last 2 rounds. And he did a great job just keeping me informed what had been caught. And I just had to be really, really confident in that bream line. It was clear I wasn't going to get the weight on that short line because of the tiny bleak. And to be fair, something that we spotted on the Friday was halfway through the session, the fish just simply vanished off that short line. And that happened on Saturday on the team match. I don't know why, it just went. So every time I did go on it to rest my long line, I just never got any bites whatsoever. And then you really, you know, you're up against it then because you're not putting anything in the net. But you've got to go on that short line to rest your long line. You know, when you think or you believe that that long line needs resting, you've obviously got to come off it and fish somewhere. So I kept going on that shorter line even though I didn't catch. And 2.5 hours in, Richard Vaughan came round, sat behind me and said, "Look, Jay, you only need 1 good bream really to get back in it." And I was telling him that I was super confident in my line. My line was at 60 metres, loads of space there on the peg on the high bank there, lots of room. It looks fantastic, it looks ideal. And why ever I didn't get anything in the first 2.5 hours on that line, I don't know. But when Richard was there, I was 2.5 hours in, and just as I'm telling him I'm super confident in that line, that I thought something would come, even if it might be the last hour, the tip went round, and I played quite gingerly a bream about 3.5 pound. Very, very welcome. It was very welcome. So that got me back up in the section. And in a nutshell, the last hour and a half, I think I caught 4 fish on that line. I got another good bream and a couple of big skimmers. And yeah, you just had to be confident in that line. You see, the longer you get into a match like that, the longer you realise that the small fish aren't there in numbers, or you can't catch them in numbers. So that means to catch a bream becomes even more important, and that's exactly the kind of match it was. So as regards the team plan from Friday, the title of the team plan, which was avoid a blowout and scratch for anything, you know, that was my match on Saturday. But I think I got my mix a little bit wrong and fished that short line a little bit wrong. I should have fished for better fish, I think. But I never expected bleak, I mean, to be a problem, and it's not something you expect on those sorts of places. And I think I fed too much on the 60 metre line. I'll be totally honest with that. I've been a little bit brainwashed as regards tackling Ferry Meadows, because I've seen how people catch fish there, and I've seen what they do, and you know, I keep doing it when I go there, and it never really works. It never really works for me. I should really just go and just fish how I fish for bream, fish a little bit steady, feed a little bit less, and just kind of fish a bit more like we do at Southfield, I think. But I mean, that's something that only future visits will become clear to me. So there you go. I ended up 4th in the section. We avoided a blowout. That was the summary. We finished on points, on 20 points, 19 points won the match, which was Dean Barlow. Dean Barlow won the individual. Well done, Dean, if you're watching. Well done. He had the top individual weight, so he won his section, obviously. And it was their team, which was DGG, which I believe is a combination of Drennan, Garbolino and Guru. I think they won the day. So they won the day. We were only 1 point behind, but on weight and count, section count back, we ended up 4th on the day. But more importantly, we thought we'd kind of sacrificed a bit of our lead, and as it turned out, we've actually increased our lead on the league. We've increased it by 4 points over the Team Ringers. So we've now got a 14-point lead now, with only 2 rounds to go. So we were absolutely over the moon with that, because we had mixed results on Saturday, to be fair, but we did enough to, you know, to scrape a result. And sometimes that's what you've got to do, even if your plan's not quite right. You know, after 2.5 hours, maybe you've got to try 1 or 2 things to get yourself out of jail, and I think that's what the lads did. Massive respect to them. Cracking. There's such a good all-round team, you know. In the respect, they can fish for small fish, they can fish for bream, like we do at Southfield and those sorts of places, or they can fish for bream at Ferry Meadows, where you've got to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. And it's just a nice all-round team. So major respect to you guys, and looking forward to the next 2 rounds with you. So yeah, so now for us, it's all about Carmill. Carmill is the next round in about 3 weeks' time. So thanks for all your questions on that. Kit wise, I know you always ask me. I have no live match footage from it, and what I'll promise to do is, in future, if it's a match that I don't want to film as a live match, what I will do is, at the end of the match, I'll just do a little vlog like this, just so you can see my kit, my rods and my setup, because that way it's not going to interfere with my actual match. I'm sure you appreciate there are some matches, especially team matches, where I don't really want to do vlogs, because I don't want my teammates to think that I'm belittling in any way the competition, because I'm not. You know, everything's 100% for me, you know that. So I'll try and do this little bit on the bank in future after the match. But reel wise, you've asked me about, I use the feeder 5500. As you can see, it's built up quite high actually, with 0.10 submerged braid, and that's got an 8-meter shock leader on there. I use that with a new XD Horizon rod, which some people have asked to see the graphics. Not quite sure why, but there you go, which are there. Hopefully you can see them all right. It's the first full weekend, well, I fished 3 days this weekend with these rods. I've used the 4-meter versions, 100 gram, and I've got to admit, I prefer them over the old ones now. You know, I'm not just saying that. People know it's the truth because they've seen me on the bank. 21 people, and I don't mind saying that, 21 people over the 3 days have had their hands on this particular rod and had a cast with it, because they heard that it was coming out and they've seen the buzz around it, and every single one of them loved the feel of that rod. Yes, it's a little bit tippier. I was the first person to say that. It's a little bit tippier than the old version, but I think because the rods are built for fishing at range, when you're fishing at range, you've got to have extra weight on your feeder, and I think that extra tippiness of those rods, for me, helps to kind of pick those feeders up when you're playing fish. I think sometimes if the rod's too soft or too much of a through action, when you've got 50, 60 gram or even an 80 gram feeder on, that's obviously coming back down, you know, towards the lake bed as you're playing fish and that sort of thing. And I think they've been absolutely ideal this weekend. And well, you'll see what I think of them, because they're the ones that I'm going to be using all the time now. So fantastic range of rods. I'll put a link below if anyone's interested in them. I'm going to do a vlog on them on the XD rods. I'll tell you why. I'll put a link below to the official video for them, which explains what they are, what they're all about. I think there's the prices on there as well, and the specs of them, and that's the professional official video from Matrix. What I'm going to do, I've got permission to do it, is I'm going to do my own video where I go out on the bank with that rod, but I'm also going to be on the bank with the old rod. And what I'm going to do is, because the biggest question people's asked me is how the new rods compare to the old rods. They want to know how they're different, and I completely understand that. A lot of lads like the old rods, so they want to know how these compare. So what I'm going to do is get out on the bank. I'm going to show you the actions of the old rod and the new rod, put them side by side, and I can show you the dimensions, because that looks a lot slimmer blank than the others. The handle looks slightly shorter, which for me is much better, but whether that's true or not, I don't know. So get it out on the bank, I'm going to measure it up, and I'll do a vlog on it for you, just so you can see the comparison between the two. Okay, so Sunday was the individual qualifier. Again, just because I've had so much buzz on the bank this weekend about looking at the Horizon rods and stuff, that I just haven't had a chance to do it like a live match, and to be fair, there wouldn't have been much coverage for you anyway. So what I did do, I was 2 pegs to the left of Jeff Ringer, who went on to win the match. He's done fantastic. He's fished, I can't tell you exactly how he fished because I don't really know. I couldn't really see him. I could see his landing net going out, but he won the qualified for the Masters final. But what I did, sorry, the feeder Masters final at Bow Beach. But what I did do is I went over to see him at the weigh-in, so here's some footage from the weigh-in. Have a quick look at the weight so far, shall we? Look at that. That Lee Jones MPEG 24. I think that won the section yesterday, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You got them all up back in, didn't you?
Yeah.
Scout check. Yeah, we're good.
There's Marky Mark, there's been there.
Hello.
Had good company all day, we've had plenty of time to talk. That's why breed matches are so sociable, because you've got so much spare time on your hands. Proper ones them, Jeff.
I hope it's about the same as the others.
Okay. Do you want to do them separately?
Yeah.
Yeah, might be a good idea. Oh, did I go for 40? Yeah.
19.9.
Number one, he's got another net as well. Right.
I haven't been able to see him all day, but I think he's caught them all on the method. Looks as though he's fishing about 60 metres. We're pretty sure he's won this zone. I mean, he could even win the match. We've heard it's fished hard all over the lake. It's going to be a nice split, that, Jeff.
Me and John weighed in a tape. What was it? 9 something? One fish you had?
What, on here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big ones in here.
Well, I said to the
Big
cart,
fish
one of
there.
the
They
cart,
put the weight
I
back
said
on
to
you,
one of
don't
the
they?
cart boys last night, I want a double figure tench out of here
Yeah.
next year, and he went, been done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Already been done?
Yeah.
Yeah, cart guys.
Good last, Jeff. I'm sick of seeing you, Jeff, these fish. But when they come up to the net like that, they go, oh, it's Jeff again.
They didn't see me yesterday, did they?
No. Do you want to catch her?
Yeah, sure, it's just...
Nearly had you. 17.8.
37.1.
Well, he's done brilliant. He's weighed 37 pounds all on the method. We don't know, he could have even won the match. We've heard Overton's fished quite hard, the last I heard. Well, Jeff did brilliant. I mean, it's just job done. It looked like he'd fished a method at 60 metres. It looked like he fished quite negative. I don't know if that's right or not, because I never asked him. I just kind of respected, you know, his privacy on the way that he fished. I'm sure he would have told me if he wanted to volunteer it, but I didn't ask because he fishes on there a lot. He's done really, really well. I think he's won a festival on there already this year, and you know, he's been fishing the venue for 30 years. A lot to learn from somebody like Jeff on that venue, and it's great to see. I've got to admit, it's great to see the method work on there, because I'm a big believer that I like variations in methods. I like to see different methods working on venues. Keeps us thinking, keeps us working, and yeah, it keeps us busy looking at different options rather than just thinking everything's set in stone and black and white everywhere you go. Alright then, so the biggest news for me personally this week is the launch of the app. It's only on Android at the minute. A lot of you already know about it. Really, really pleased with it. I've got to admit, it was going to be a much bigger app than what it already is. It was going to be an all singing, all dancing one, but because of the time and effort I would have had to put into it, I really wouldn't have wanted to give it away for free, because it would have involved constant updates every week, and I just haven't got the time to do it, because that would have taken my time away from the videos and obviously preparation for my matches. So it's nice and simple, it looks simple, and it's working. It's on Android, so that's the home screen for it. So let's have a quick look at how it works. Okay, so that's the basic screen. You can't get much simpler than that. So what we've got: videos, catch fishing channel, videos. That's the main bit, that's why it's in red. If you go onto that, that will then open within the app all the videos that are on the channel. There's over 100 and I don't know what it is, 106 videos on there. They're all there, and all you do, if you pick one that you want to see, that will take you straight to the YouTube channel, and there you go, you're straight into watching the video. And if you just want to go to the channel itself, there's the channel. Okay, simple as that. So that's that. If you go to the home button there, that'll take you back to the main screen. The next one is Facebook. A lot of you are already friends with myself on Facebook. That'll keep you up to date with various kind of updates and things, more regular updates, and that's my Facebook page on there. Okay, back to the home screen. There you go. Twitter. A lot of you are friends of mine on Twitter as well, and I put a lot of updates on there. So that's the Twitter feed within the app, so that's there as well. And press the home button again. contact, quite simply my email address. Anybody who wants to get in touch, there's my email address. You can click on that and that will take you direct to your email or Gmail or whatever you're linked into. Okay, nice and simple. Back to the home, and then the final button on here is coaching. That is quite simply a link to my coaching and fishing day page. All the information of the days that I run are on there for everyone to see, and if you just go there, there's some contact details for myself on there if you're interested in those sorts of days. Just about the information about what they include and what they entail. There's some recent session photographs on there, some lads that I've already had sessions with, if you just want to see what sort of stuff it is that I've been doing. And then if you press the home, that'll take you back to the app. Nice and simple, it's free, and it just means that if I come out of that altogether, it adds it onto your home screen there, so anytime you switch your phone on, just press the app button and there it is. Straight away you can go straight into the videos. They're all there. The latest video is always shown at the top, and then you can scroll through all the others. Nice and simple. Well, that's it for this week. Like I say, it's been a very, very busy week. Like I say, I've had 3 days fishing at the weekend. This week I should have been on the Boston Festival, but sadly due to work commitments and sacrifices I've had to make to go on other festivals and stuff that I really need to be part of, I've had to miss the Boston Festival. So if anybody's watching who's been fishing that, I've seen some footage today on Facebook. Looks like it's fishing really well, so good luck all you guys. Next weekend is Saturday. I'm going to be out with Wayne Bartholomew. I'm going to be doing a bit of filming for Bait Tech, so I'm sure that's something a lot of you are going to be interested in, because Wayne's one of the anglers that's got a bit of a reputation for fishing certain ways on certain venues, and a lot of people are really interested in the way that he approaches certain venues. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I'd like you to watch the video when it's done. It's not for my page, but I will do a daily vlog on it just so you can kind of see how the day progressed really. But the actual video itself is going to be part of the Bait Tech Sessions series on the Bait Tech website. So that's Saturday. I'm not fishing, I'm just filming. And on Sunday is the next Feeder Masters qualifier, and that is on the tidal River Trent. So that is what my prep will involve this weekend. Well, that's it. I feel as though I've raced through it again. I've still got a couple of matches already on here that I've not had a chance to edit yet, so there's loads coming. I know it's the live match stuff that you guys really like, and I've been investing in a little bit more kit as well to try and clean up and make those a little bit sharper and enjoyable for you guys. So thanks for watching. It's Thursday, as you know. Friday tomorrow. I hope you're all going to have a fantastic weekend. I know I'm going to see some of you. Please, if you are interested in the channel, get subscribed up. The more subscribers I get, the more time I'll invest in this. And obviously the link below is for the app. It's free. Get it on you know, like I say, it's only Android at the moment. It will be in iTunes. iTunes can take 2 or 3 weeks for that to be approved, so I'll let you know when it's available for iPhone and stuff. But the Android, I mean, that's done now. You've just seen on my phone it's working, and a lot of people have started to download it, which I've noticed. So that's great. Thanks for that. That's it. Have a fantastic weekend. I know I'm going to see some of you this weekend, and yeah, let's just keep viewing, keep subscribing, and let's just keep this going. I mean, it's a fantastic vehicle for sharing stuff, and it's great to hear all the feedback from the bank side. So have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you all again next week.